What's up, Chicago Cub fans? Man, the fix was in from the beginning, from the start. The Chicago Cubs pitcher, Cade Horton, the rookie pitcher, misses out on the NL Rookie of the Year award. Was it justified? Or was it actually punishing the rest of the Chicago Cubs for being just that great? We're going to cover that. Plus, Bob Nightengale drops a bomb on all of us in this episode, talking about the fact that Chicago Cubs are going to spend not only on pitching, but on outfield help also. Listen, and last but not least, a Cubs legend hangs it up today. We got to talk about it all and then some right here on your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. That's right. Let's get it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, Chicago Cubs Central fam? It's your boy, Mike Jones, back here again with another episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Remember, this is your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. If this is your first time watching, hey, what's going on? Appreciate you for tuning in. If you like what you see here, if you love the energy, if you love the content, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you are a repeat visitor, go ahead on your socials and share this podcast with the rest of your Cubs fans, friends. Let them know, like, hey, listen, you need to come over and hang out with Big Mike over on Chicago Cubs Central. We got you covered all throughout the offseason and into next season. Listen, I appreciate each and every last one of you guys from the bottom of my heart that tune into these episodes, the ones that comment below. I appreciate you guys. It means the world to me. All right, now, with that being said, first and foremost, first story of the day, Cade Horton, unfortunately, will finish second in the Rookie of the Year for the National League. And to me, it's unfortunate, guys. This is one of those things where I look at it and I say to myself that Cade Horton had a hell of a year, but it was not rewarded. And again, it's something that I kind of figured was going to end up happening once PCA didn't get that Platinum Glove Award. The Chicago Cubs did win the Team Gold Glove Award, and you also had 3 Chicago Cubs, which led the way in MLB winning Gold Gloves this year. That let me know right there. They were done with the Chicago Cubs probably after that. There was no way Cade was going to win the National League Rookie of the Year, and you definitely weren't going to see PCA win the Platinum Glove Award. Now, the real question here, folks, is not did they earn it? It was, were they robbed or not? Because we already know these guys earned it. We watched our Cubs all season long. We know what these guys brought to the table. We know what they did. PCA and Cade Horton were 2 of the biggest pieces of the Chicago Cubs' success this year. Cade Horton going out is half the reason I truly believe in my heart of hearts the Chicago Cubs did not end up playing the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. I believe if we had Cade Horton, this series, that series against Milwaukee would have went a lot different. But hey, there's no time to cry over spoiled milk, at least not that spoiled milk. I want to cry on the spoiled milk of the fact that Cade Horton was unequivocally robbed of the National League Rookie of the Year award. And again, his stats back up the fact that he just did everything possible for this team this year to be successful, from how many wins he was able to bring in, from how he steadied the starting pitching while Jameson Taillon, Shota Imanaga, and of course Justin Steele all took periods where they were out this year, Justin Steele being out for the majority of the year. Cade Horton got called up from AAA and was able to come right in and immediately be an impact player. Now, he did have some growing pains, but towards the second end of the season, after the All-Star break, Cade Horton really found his groove, man, and he really, really began to show you what he was capable of as a starting pitcher in this league, and it was dependable. It was quality start after quality start after quality start. Now, remind you, I already did the episode on Cade, so like I said, we don't have to. You guys can go back and watch my grade on Cade. And everything like that. Again, to me, he made the grade for this season. I think that he had a great season. Drake Baldwin of the Atlanta Braves was unfortunately the person that the MLB chose and the voters chose should be the National League Rookie of the Year. And again, He was number 2 in by rookies in home runs this year with 19. Again, he did all right. He did all right. There's no hate there, especially for an Atlanta Braves team that was struggling. But you gotta reward the player that comes in and helps his team win. And when you start dishing out awards to losing teams or players that are on losing teams, you begin to say that winning doesn't matter. Now, if Drake Baldwin had been able to contribute to the Atlanta Braves being the Atlanta Braves that we've seen over the past 4 years, okay, I'm shutting up. I have nothing to say. But the fact that Atlanta Braves team could not make it to the postseason, that Atlanta Braves team missed the postseason this year, and yet Cade Horton was a big reason why the Chicago Cubs were in the postseason, even if he couldn't perform in the postseason, that to me, that just sends a bad sign to baseball. A really, really bad sign to baseball. It sends a bad sign to the players. It sends a bad sign to the fans who have supported Cade Horton all season long. It's just ugly. I don't like it. I don't like it one single solitary bit. Now, had they given it to another player that contributed to winning baseball, okay, I'd shut my mouth. But I looked on that list. I mean, as much as I hate to say this, but the pitcher from Milwaukee probably should have got it ahead of Drake Baldwin. But hey, Cade Horton finished second. It is what it is. There's nothing else we can do about it, I guess. But we have to move on. But I want Cade Horton Jr. I want Cade Horton to take this out on the MLB next year. I want him to allow this to light a fire under him that will not be extinguished. I want him to go crazy next year on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. I want revenge games against Milwaukee. I definitely want him to pitch against Atlanta and shut them all the way out. And I want him to have an amazing season next year. I'm just disappointed. But I also want to hear from you, Cub fans. I also want to hear from you guys. What were your thoughts? Do you think Drake Baldwin earned the Rookie of the Year for the National League, or do you think that it should have went to Cade Horton? Let me know in the comments section, guys. Get active in that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. All right, next up, we want to talk about Bob Nightengale reporting on the Chicago Cubs. So this report came out that from Bob Nightengale. He reported that the Chicago Cubs are expected to be all in on getting starting pitching, with them looking at potentially adding maybe not just one, but two starting pitchers this up and coming winter before we head into next season. Those pitchers that the Chicago Cubs are potentially monitoring closely are none other than Framber Valdez, which I've already done 2 different episodes on him. I've talked about him ad nauseum as somebody that the Chicago Cubs definitely are going to look at. I definitely think that he looks like somebody that the Chicago Cubs would want. And Dylan Cease is the other pitcher that the Chicago Cubs are heavily favored to be monitoring and looking at and should be trying to land. So those 2 pitchers are who the Chicago Cubs are looking at currently. Framber Valdez and Dylan Cease. Not to mention the other part in that, Bob Nightengale also said that they are also looking for a corner outfielder. That's right. The Chicago Cubs are in the market for a corner outfielder. What does that tell you? Does that tell you that maybe they're thinking differently about Ian Happ? Does that tell you that they expect Kyle Tucker to be out? What does that tell you? Does the guy need to have a big explosive bat? Is there somebody out there on the trade market that they could go find? It'll be interesting. Very, very interesting to see exactly who the Chicago Cubs are looking at. We already know pitching who they're looking at. It's reported that it's Framber Valdez and Dylan Cease. If those deals happen or if those deals get done, which the Dylan Cease thing you have to watch out for, because I've also seen that Dylan Cease is as good as an Atlanta Brave. Like, it's happening. He's basically already signed to them. So I don't know. We'll have to check and see with that. But Framber Valdez is a very, very good pitcher. And I would like to see what he could do for the Chicago Cubs next season. I'm curious to see what you guys also think about this. Let me know in the comments below what you guys want. Do you want Framber Valdez? Do you want Dylan Cease? Or do you want one of those rookie sensation Japanese pitchers? You want to keep the Dodgers and Giants from getting them all, right? Let me know your thoughts below, guys, on that. And last but not least, y'all, our guy, Mr. Sweet Emotions, Kyle Hendricks, announces today that he is retiring from the MLB after pitching 11 seasons with the Chicago Cubs and then pitching a season for the Los Angeles Angels. Kyle Hendricks is hanging it up, y'all. Kyle Hendricks, to me, represents and embodies what the 2010s Chicago Cubs, like the 2010s Chicago Cubs, was all about. Just heart, grit, and just one of those guys that was just immaculate at pitching. In his heyday, at his best days, on his best days, he could surgically take away anything that your top hitters could do. From that off-speed pitch to just literally throwing it right down Broad Street, but getting it past you. He played to contact a lot throughout his MLB career. He pitched to contact a lot, but he was able to get outs. I still, to this day, will never forget what he did against that in 2016 against the Dodgers, and how Kyle Hendricks was able to come into that game and provide the Chicago Cubs with what they needed in order to win the game, to advance to the World Series. That's Kyle Hendricks for you. That's what he was able to do for this team. No doubt about it. He will be in a Cubs blue jacket, but when it's all said and done, and deservedly so. Kyle Hendricks, we salute you, man. Thank you for everything you did for the Chicago Cubs. What's your favorite Kyle Hendricks moment? I want you guys to comment that below. And do you think Kyle Hendricks could be headed back to the dugout, but this time as a coach? Listen, that's my time for today, man. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Make sure that you guys leave your comments below. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And listen, I appreciate you guys. Until next time, go Cubs go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.